Imagine the world is too loud, yet you can't hear a single voice. Imagine everyone around you is just a blur, a sea of people you've disconnected from because you think you don't deserve to look them in the eye. This is the world for one Shoya. And for a long time, he believed the only way to fix this was to just end it. Silent Voice is often marked as the saddest anime film of all time. But that's just the surface. It is actually a brutal, honest, and ultimately hopeful study on the most difficult human achievement: forgiving yourself. I'm your host, Anime 101. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff, and in today's video, we're breaking down A Silent Voice. Let's get into it. Most stories about bullying focus on the victim, and while Shoko's perspective is very vital to this series, to this breakdown, and to his experiences, A Silent Voice does something uncomfortable. It makes us stay with the bully. Young Shoya isn't exactly a villain in the traditional sense. He's a kid fighting boredom and looking for social validation. He targets the new girl because she is deaf and is a disruption to status quo. But the movie's real genius is showing the bystander effect. The teachers who looked away, the friends who laughed until it was no longer cool, they all used him as a lightning rod for their own guilt. When the dust is settled, Shoko was gone, and Shoya was left with a debt he didn't know how to repay. Years later, Shoya tracks down Shoko, not to ask her friendship, but to return her notebook and say goodbye to the world. But in that moment, something shifts. The silent voice of the title isn't just about Shoko being deaf. It's about the fact that everyone in the movie is failing to communicate. Shoko apologizes for things that aren't her fault because she thinks her existence is the burden. Shoya talks to the floor because he's paralyzed by shame. And different people talk to others because they can't handle their own complicated emotions. It's a tragic comedy of errors. They're all standing right in front of each other, yet they are miles apart. The movie shows us that hearing something isn't the same as listening to them. It's a very unique movie, let me tell you. It is sad, it is heartbreaking, it is everything in between. But a lot of things come to an end, and this insane series definitely did. The shame came to an end. The blaming themselves for their burdens came to an end. A lot of people, the biggest thing with it that came to an end was the ability not to communicate. So yes, people started speaking to each other. Yeah, I know. Communication is key, people. You can't read minds. No one can read your mind. So just talk it out, please. And at the end, the balcony scene is an emotional epicenter. In a dark irony, both protagonists reach a point where they believe the world would be better off without them. When Shoya lunges to save Shoko, he isn't just saving her life, he's finally choosing to hear the pain over his own guilt. Forgiveness in this movie isn't a gift that Shoko gives to Shoya, it's a bridge they build together. It's a messy, ugly, and it involves comforting people who still hate you, but it's the only way forward. And one of the greatest parts about it was when, at the end, the X's finally fall off the face. He sees the world. He allows himself to live. He allows himself to experience things. He no longer wants to die. He wants to experience the beauty and the joy of life itself. A Silent Voice doesn't end with a grand romantic gesture, but with a boy finally taking his hands off his ears. He hears the laughter, he hears the chatter, and the noises of a world he long tuned out long ago. He's allowed to be happy. He's allowed to be part of the world. It makes sense because, well, he went through all this emotional turmoil, all this emotional trauma. Everything in his life was basically like, for a long time was, I gotta die. That's the only thing he thought of. We all have the X's over people's faces sometimes. We all have the moments where we feel we've messed up too badly to be redeemed. But this movie reminds us that, well, there's always redemption at the end of the tunnel. There's always a way to learn, as long as you're willing to, well, learn the language of another person, whether that's sign language or just some simple empathy here and there. Like, can we just talk about things instead of just, doing whatever this movie did? You can always find your way back. If you haven't watched this film or haven't watched it in a while, go back and see it. It's time. It's a hard watch, but it's a necessary one. What's the one scene that always gets you? Always the bridge scene. Always the scene where, everything, you've canceled your subscriptions, everything after this date on your calendar has been crossed off, your room's clean, like that sort of stuff. Those points in the movie are its peaks. And this movie entirely is a peak. It's one of my favorites. Not my favorite, but Suzume is my favorite. But it's a lot of people's favorite, and it's definitely a top 3 anime film. Let me know what you think of the film in the comment sections down below. Anyway, that's it for me, your host, Anime 101. Like, share, subscribe. Do all like good YouTube stuff. See you guys next time. Have a fantastic day.